All right, let's go, guys. Let's get started. So welcome back, Advanced Network Management. Today we're going to talk about module number 3. So we're going to start talking about dynamic routing protocols for a while. We're going to reserve that for when we get into wide area networks. So just a little bit before the first assessment, we're going to talk about wide area networks and how to configure wide area networks. And that is it, all right, for your first assessment. Now, a few things that we're going to discuss here are also useful for your assessment. So still anyways, man, just enjoy. All right, so network security concepts. It's going to get so much harder, man, from when you do the basic network security courses that you've always done here at CIT, okay? This is going to be hard, hopefully, okay? So these are the main topics we're going to discuss, mate. So this is going to take a while, right? So get yourselves ready. So I did this before to get ready, and it took me about 190 minutes to finish it all off. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Should be an hour and a half, all right? So enjoy. So this is the thing we're going to discuss, the current state of cybersecurity in the world. We're going to talk about the threat actors, the malware, the common network attacks, vulnerabilities, TCP, IP, and UDP vulnerabilities, IP services, network security best practices, and cryptography. So let's get started with the first one, mate. Current state of cybersecurity. If you haven't been inside of a cave for the past 3 years, you know that the buzzword in the industry right now is cybersecurity, mate. Because there's a lot of stuff happening in the world, Mr. Noah. You know? People trying to hack other people, countries trying to hack other countries, you know? You guys remember about 2 years ago when we heard that China was trying to hack Australia and stuff like that, yeah? So, yeah.
Well, they did, but they denied it.
It's in high demand, all right? So it is in high demand, and because of this, we're going to study, man, because we're going to get you ready for the industry. There's no better way to get you ready for the industry than to discuss about cybersecurity in pretty much every single course that you learn here. That's what's been happening. So a few things here you already learned. It's going to be a refresh. A few things might be new to you, all right? So current statement. Now, it's not new to you, mate. Things are only getting worse, right? Only getting worse. People hacking other people, you know. You have to be protected. Otherwise, mate, you may be a victim of some sort of attack nowadays. So, to understand cybersecurity, we need to understand some key terms. We need to understand some key terminology here. Assets. What is an asset?
Data, equipment.
You know what is a synonym to asset? Stuff. Okay? So every company has assets. Company has stuff, mate, you know? Monitors, computers, you know? Operating systems installed in the computer. You got printers, you got workbenches, you got fancy adjustable desks. So just this one here. I love this desk so much, man. Yeah? Networking devices, routers and switches. What else you got? Data shows, everything, man. TVs. These are all assets, right? They all have an asset tag, most of them, right? If it doesn't have an asset tag, maybe it doesn't belong to anybody. You know? Vulnerability. What is a vulnerability, mate?
Something you could hack.
What does it mean to be vulnerable? Vulnerable.
That you are not fully protected. It can be caused by different reasons.
It is like going to the supermarket naked.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
You're vulnerable, mate. Yeah? So when you have a vulnerability, mate, it's a weakness in the system. Yeah? In the design. So it's easy for people to exploit. Yeah? You may do a social experiment, walk in the city right now naked to see what happens. You know? It's not gonna be fun. I don't think so. You know? You guys reckon it's gonna be fun? No, maybe. What is a threat, mate? What is a threat?
Something that could be used
Yeah.
or a person or something
exact. Someone that can exploit or something that can exploit the vulnerability. Yeah. So going to the supermarket naked is not a good idea, because there will be all the people there. Yeah. Pointing at you, at your stuff, laughing at you, right? Making jokes and stuff. Yeah. They are the threats, man, to your vulnerability if you go naked to the supermarket.
Does a flood count as a threat?
Yes, as well. Flooding, yes. Yes, yes. Now, check this out. So these are all the threads, mate, that you have. Now, what is exploit? Taking advantage of a system, you know, going against the system, trying to take advantage, finding the vulnerability, and so on. What is a mitigation? Making sure you dress before you go to the supermarket, so you don't go naked. Yeah. And then you got risks. What are the risks, mate?
How bad is it?
The likelihood of a threat to be exploited. So the risk is always there, mate. There's always a risk. Someone will find a vulnerability. There is always a risk. The risk is always there. And it doesn't mean that right now, if you don't know about a vulnerability, it doesn't mean it's always going to be like this. Tomorrow, someone may find out that there's a vulnerability with Windows 11. Yeah?
You might be lucky, everybody in the supermarket might be blind.
So here's the importance of being up to date with the stuff, man, with the vulnerabilities. There are some websites that you can sign up, you can get free information about the latest threats and vulnerabilities. Yeah? So if you want to work with cybersecurity, I strongly recommend you doing that. I'm pretty sure Katie has done that for some courses. Yeah? She used to get some junk email every time.
Yes.
Every now and then. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. And there you go. So what is a vector of attack? A vector of a network attack. What is that, mate? What is a vector? Direction, yeah? You know how to get in. You know how to reach the destination. You know how to reach the target. Yeah? That's your vector. Now, the vector of network attacks are many. There are many vectors. Many ways you can get inside and potentially cause some harm, exploit certain vulnerabilities, and so on. Now, you have the external threats. Obviously, the external threats are coming from the outside world, the internet. Yeah? Outside connection, external connections. And you also got the internal threats, mate. You know, that employee pissed off with someone else and he just tries to do something. Yeah? There you go. You also got the internal threats. And of course, if you have the threats, you have an attack vector. Some way you can reach a system, you can then compromise the system or the host machine or the whatever that is. A computer, a VoIP phone, anything pretty much. Fridge. Yeah? An AC controller, so you know you can change the temperature. Right? Maybe not. It doesn't sound that crazy to change the temperature on a room like this, but if you think about something crazy, mate, maybe a nuclear reactor, it is a huge deal, mate. If you change the temperature,
Data centers?
data centers as well. Yeah, you may cook data centers by doing that. And there you go. So data loss or data exfiltration. This is a huge issue in cybersecurity, man. Why?
Information is also an asset.
And usually it's one of the most valuable ones. That's what usually the company pays people to do. You know? Spend their time trying to develop a solution, trying to come up with something. Yeah? And they usually save these progress in files. What happens if someone takes those files?
They don't have to do the work that make it
Loss of intellectual property, mate. Yeah? And intellectual property is worth so much money these days, Fred. So much money these days, mate. Yeah? There are many examples like this. So you know that every once in a while a movie is leaked on the web before it actually goes to the cinemas? Do you think that's a good thing? Depends.
Sometimes.
I like to get movies as soon as I can, you know? But it's not good for the company, mate, you know? First of all, it's going to ruin the company's reputation. Second of all, loss of revenue, loss of money, you know? People don't want to lose money. Huh? So this is the things that can happen if the data loss happens. Damage the company's reputation, loss of competitive advantage, loss of customers, loss of revenue, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Now, data loss, vectors, ways that someone can attack a company and get these data without authorization. There you go. Email, social networking. Now, have you guys ever heard the term social engineering? What is social engineering?
Getting the
It's influencing someone to do something that you want him to do without having him to understand the consequences or the actual action that you want him to do.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good definition, mate. But you're just basically trying to trick people, yeah, in doing things that you want them to do.
Changing their mindsets.
And how do you do that? You study their behavior. Yeah. You study them. You try to understand everything they do. You try to understand what they like to do. You try to get all their personal identifiable information, their full name, their whatever they have, right? And then you can execute a more effective attack, right? If I send you an email right now saying, "Dear customer, please click on the link below to reset your Apple ID, your Apple account, whatever." Would you click on the link below?
Please don't.
You're probably not going to click on the link below. But if I rewrite this email saying, "Dear Mr. Fred," and I include something else, like maybe your date of birth in the email, and I include a few other information about yourself, and I write the same thing, would you click on the email?
Apple.
I will, but
No.
I don't have an Apple device. I wouldn't do it. I've never had an Apple device. Yeah. But if you do, mate, you might click the link, right? And then that's it. That would be an attack vector, a way that something could be installed in your machine, for example. Yeah. A virus, a Trojan horse, a worm, and whatever we're still going to discuss today, right? Other ways that data loss may happen. Unencrypted devices. What is encryption, mate? You heard about encryption your entire life so far. Yeah? You've been at CIT for 3 years, you heard about encryption for 3 years, and you still don't know what encryption is.
We're using encryption. Actually, we're using an algorithm that applies a specific key to cipher the data and cipher the data. So if
That's way too
someone-
technical, mate. Try to make things
It's
easy.
unreadable if you don't have the key.
It's not in plain.
One word.
Clear.
Hiding stuff. You only know because you were here yesterday. Hiding stuff. So you're hiding stuff, right? That's what encryption is. So you're hiding stuff so that people that are not authorized, they won't be able to check it out. Yeah? So you hide the things you don't want to show everybody.
They can see it, but they can't read or
They
understand it.
can't read it. Yes, they can't understand it. Exactly. So that's the thing. You're hiding. You try to hide so they look, even if they see it, they won't be able to, make sense of the things that are there, because it's encrypted. Now, cloud storage devices are also a data loss vector. Removable media, hard copy, improper access control. Why is removable media one of those?
Because you don't have control on what people plug into the network and download to their flash drive.
Exactly.
And this
And
is
if
the
you
big
forget your flash drive
Yeah.
or your USB drive, whatever you have, someone can take your data, mate.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's gone. Yeah.
Also, historically, USB ports are really hard to block.
USB ports are really hard
Because
to.
if you plug something into
block.
a USB port, then it's treated as part of, in a way, it's treated as part of the computer. So the security on them used to be not there.
Yeah, it's not that great, but still there's certain things you can do
I
to
don't know
group
what-
policies and stuff. There's still ways you can block access. Yeah. There are two ways.
You
It's
can block
not-
ports, but
Yeah. Not that effective sometimes, but you can still do it. Yeah. Now, threat actors. Now, threat actors can be white hat hackers, gray hat hackers, and black hat hackers. Which one of these you guys think is the worst?
Black hat.
My goodness, you guys are so racist.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Why is this cybersecurity world so racist, man?
It's
See
worse.
that, Alvin? This is ridiculous, man. Yeah? Doesn't make any sense, you know? But unfortunately, that's how things are. Sorry, Alvin.
It might not
Right.
be racist.
But the thing is, they could call it something else, man. Maybe dark hat hackers would be nice, huh? Less racist, you know?
Not really, because it's all
I don't know, man.
light.
Dark and light hat hackers, but the thing is, you get the idea, right?
Same thing.
Just
but-
dig it,
No.
dig it the hole deeper, you know?
The black hat hackers, mate, they want, most of the time, they want the money, right? They want to cause as much harm as they can. They want to steal the data. They want to get some money. They want to do stuff. And they want to just, you know, cause as much damage as they can to the company's reputation, to the person, to everybody, you know? So those are the black hat hackers, the bad guys, okay? Nothing personal. But that's the thing, that's the idea, right? And now we also got the white hat hackers. What is a white hat hacker? Have you seen one of those ads from ADFA, Australian Defence Force? Come and work for us, you know, do something for us and, you know, get some good money, good pay and stuff like that, you know? And pray to God that China is not going to invade Taiwan, Fred, because otherwise, good luck, okay? Fighting for your country. But that's the idea, yeah? The government is going to hire you, or the company is going to hire you, and then you're going to be a white hat hacker. You're going to use all your ethical skills, your ethical hacking skills. You're going to try to hack the company. Yeah? There are no consequences because you're doing this because you want to find out what the vulnerabilities are so you can make the system
More secure.
more secure. That's it.
With their permission.
So that's the idea. Yeah, they will give you the permission to do it. So it is legal. Yeah? It is legal. You can do it because the companies allow you to do it. Yeah? So one example here is the penetration testers. You can be hired as a penetration tester, get paid some money. You're basically going to run scripts to try to hack systems every single day.
And tell them what's wrong and come back the next year and find the same things.
Yeah. Exactly. And then you also got the ones in the middle, man. You know, they're not too sure if they want to do the good things. They're not too sure if they want to do the bad things. Yeah. So they commit crimes and do arguably unethical things. You know, arguably. Yeah. Because after all, if you hack Russia these days, I don't think people care. You know. Oh no, that's not that bad. You know. Yeah. Same thing with China. Oh no, it's China, mate. It's not that bad, you know. Yeah. So those are the great hat hackers. Yeah. You can have all those organizations. Have you heard about the Anonymous? There you go. Sometimes they can be considered great hat hackers because no one knows what the hell they want. Yeah. Sometimes they do good things. Sometimes they don't. But you know, they're like in the middle of these two. There you go. 3 categories of hackers. So choose which one you want to be, mate. Because after all, being in cybersecurity can give you 2 things. 2 things, Shai. Do you know what these 2 things are?
Money and fame.
A lot of money and jail. So it depends on which one of these you guys are going to be, right? So if you're going to be a white hat hacker, probably it's going to give you a lot of money. But if you're going to choose any of the other 2, maybe, just say maybe, you might go to jail. I don't know about you, I don't like to go to jail. Would you like to go to jail now?
No.
So just don't do these things, man.
It depends how good you are, right?
Depends on how good you are, because eventually the government is going to say, oh man, you're so good. How about if you come and work for us? You know, and we're going to forget about all these stories. Yeah? Happens a lot. Does it happen here in Australia as well?
Happens in the movies.
In the movies, man, I don't think they're going to do this here. Yeah?
Unless they want to make an example of you.
I don't want to try. If you want to try, let me know. All right. We also have some other terms here. Script kiddies, vulnerability brokers, hacktivists, cyber criminals, and state sponsored. So you can also be in one of these categories as well. Script kiddies. What is that? I hate this so much. What is script kiddies?
15-year-old billionaires.
You
People
just
that-
use the tools.
Don't do it as a profession.
You don't have much technical knowledge,
Yeah.
but you can still use some dodgy tools on the internet. Yeah? And then you're just basically a script kiddie because you don't even know what the script is doing, you know? You don't even have the knowledge about the protocols, but you still just run it for fun, you know? We also got the vulnerability brokers. That's a very nice career for you, mate. I met a guy once that he used to make a lot of money just by finding out vulnerabilities on Microsoft operating systems. That was his job, man. That's it. Nothing else. You know? Just sit his butt on the chair the whole day, trying to find out if something was weird in a Windows operating system, and then report it to Microsoft, and then Microsoft will give you a bounty. Whatever, thousands of dollars. Yeah? It's a thing, Rob. I think Google does that as well. Facebook as well, I think. Yeah.
What do they advertise? They
Uh,
ask people to do this, do they? Or-
They have a
Yeah.
like part of it.
They put it on their web pages.
Yeah.
Alright, we also got the hacktivists. Hacktivists are basically the grey hat hackers, you know? They're basically fighting for something. Or at least they try to give an explanation of why they're doing what they're doing, you know? Oh no, we're just hacking Russia, you know, because Russia invaded Ukraine. Do you know why Russia invaded Ukraine? No.
Yeah.
I just know it's a bad thing. You know? Sort of story. So it is arguably the right or the wrong thing. You know? We also got the cyber criminals and state sponsors. Cyber criminals, mate, it's just about the money, you know, making as much money as you can. They're usually self-employed and trying to commit crimes. That's the idea, you know. Build a certain Trojan horse, send an email to someone, pray that someone is going to open it. This will download a piece of software that is basically going to encrypt the entire hard drive. And then it will also generate a message on the screen saying, Mr. Fred, if you want to get your data back, please transfer the equivalent of 5 Bitcoins to the following account, yeah, to get your data back. Would you trust that, Fred?
I trust that.
Yeah.
60,000
Would you transfer the 5
Oh, would I
Bitcoins
transfer?
and
Oh, they-
Mate,
they-
I doubt the guy's gonna come back. Oh, I'm gonna rescue you, mate. You just paid me. Okay? Done. Okay? Good luck with that. Let me know if that works, okay? But most of the time, the guy's just gonna vanish, man. He doesn't care about you, okay? Just wants the money. And we also got the state sponsored, which we just discussed as well. Most of the time, the government will go after people and ask them to do some work for them. So they basically become white hat hackers for the government. And then the Australian government is going to say, come and work for us, you know, good pay, good superannuation. That's it.
Put to attack China.
A whole bunch of benefits. You know. There you go. Cyber criminals, mate, they basically steal billions of dollars from consumers and business every year. Billions of dollars. That's a lot of money, man. Yeah. These are the example I gave to you guys, the anonymous. I like the symbol, it's quite nice. You know? You don't know exactly who they are. You know?
Did they want to go after Elon Musk a while ago?
Yeah, they want to go after Elon
Did
Musk.
anything happen? Or-
I don't know.
Ah.
Yeah. I don't think so. So far,
Made some scary
I don't think so. Yeah. And there you go, mate. State-sponsored hackers. State-sponsored attacks are part of cyber warfare, mate. You know, country going after each country. It's not just about the missiles anymore. It's not just about the bombs anymore. It's not just about the atomic bombs anymore. You know, you can attack another country just by being connected to the internet. Mate, that's pretty scary, Mr. Alvin. Yeah. Threat actors. So, you know, when you meet someone and you become friends with someone and the guy tells you, oh man, I work for the government in defense. Oh, what do you do? I can't say. So maybe,
Go for running the war.
just saying, you know. Oh no, I just do some specialized work. What kind of what? No, it's specialized, man. Because they can't even say.
It's easy, just say you're an accountant.
Yeah, I'm an accountant.
I'm full in the kitchen.
There you go. There's a very nice video for you guys to watch talking about threat actor tools. So go ahead and watch that. It's basically going to show you a whole bunch of tools you can use for penetration testing. Highly recommend it. These attack tools, mate, they basically require less and less technical knowledge. The newest tools, you don't even need to know about the OSI model. You don't even need to know how things work. You know, you just run the tool. It finds out the IP addresses. It finds out who is connected. It finds out a whole bunch of things. You don't even need to have those Linux queues, yeah, that you watch on the movies. Oh, you have to go to the terminal and type a whole bunch of stuff. It's not like that anymore. Yeah, you just run a Python script that has all these commands already, and that's it. Call it a day. Go drink a coffee. When you come back, it's ready. Yeah?
Do you need a hoodie?
Maybe. Just saying maybe.
And two
Black
people.
hoodie?
Two
Yeah.
people.
And there you go.
It's just-
Here's some examples of the tools I'm talking about, mate. Because after all, you can go to Bunnings, Andrew, right now, and you can buy all the tools that you need, mate, to buy a house. Same thing goes here. You can go and find all the tools that you need to hack pretty much everything you want. You want to hack networking devices? Yeah, you can find a tool for doing that. You want to try to hack operating systems? Yes, you can find a tool for doing that. Yeah, and so on. Now there you go. We have one of the most famous ones are here. Password crackers. What do you think a password cracker do? Do I need to have this here, man? This definition here for this? You know, you have to read all these words to understand this. You know, it basically tries to find out what the password is. Okay, and of course, if the password is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's it, mate. It's easy crackable. You know, easy done.
There's three major types. There's brute force, something that uses
Yeah,
algorithms.
brute force, but most of them.
Slash cracking.
Most of them are brute force. Most of them. The most common ones are brute force.
It just takes time, right?
And it just takes time. And it's so easy to protect yourself against a brute force attack. How do you do it? How do you protect yourself against a brute force?
Strong password. Strong password.
Hmm?
Use two-factor
Strong
authentication.
password.
Strong password is one of them, but it's just gonna take time.
Yeah, but
We're talking about password crackers that can try passwords, like 1,000 passwords every 10 seconds.
if your password is, you can test it. There is a test my password website.
Yeah,
So,
but it's still gonna give you an amount of time until
it
it's
can be
cracked.
a billion years. So it's
Yes.
not relevant. Right?
Yes. So complexity, yeah,
Limit the number of
the length counts as well.
Different characters.
Different characters, yeah.
Well, just another.
All these things.
Exclamation mark.
I like to go with passphrases because are easy to remember, you know, and you have a huge amount of characters, and you can also put non-alphanumerical characters as well, and that's it. Call it a day, done. It's gonna take like 1 billion years to crack it. But the thing is, if you still want to go with easy passwords, there is another way you can protect yourself.
Multi-factor authentication.
Multi-factor authentication. And there's another one.
Limit the number of times that you use.
Limit the amount of time someone can try a password. Yeah? The login block. Do you guys remember that?
You're thinking networking. This is why you're saying that.
You have done this in routers, you have done this in switches, you have done
Yeah.
this in the computers as well, mate. For the server courses you've done. Yeah? You also done that. You created a group policy, set up the maximum number of attempts. If the person cannot get the password correctly in those amount of attempts, he locks it for a certain amount of time, mate. And I'm gonna tell you, I find that so annoying if you're mistyping your password. When you're doing this, just don't set it to 3, mate, because the chance of someone messing up their password 3 times is so high. Alright? Set it to 5, you know, 6. Not 3, mate. 3 is inhumane. You know? It's like hating people.
Because the first time you type it, you think, maybe I just mistyped it.
Exactly. And then you'd be like, oh, I think I just mistyped these characters.
Maybe the caps lock.
Oh, maybe it's the caps lock. No, you're locked. Wait an hour. And oh, mate. Had to wait an hour to try again. Yeah. But there you go. We also have the wireless hacking tools. Pretty obvious what they do. Yeah. Try to hack the wireless access points. Try to connect your device to the wireless network. Yeah. So if it tries to find out passwords, try to find ways to connect to the wireless network infrastructure. We also got the network scanning and hacking tools, mate. What do you reckon they do? Find stuff out. They're gonna find stuff out. They're gonna find the networking devices. They're gonna find out the end devices connected to the network just by scanning the network. You know, you can scan, you can try to ping all the IP addresses in a network. The ones that reply and get back to you, you know they're there. Yeah? And with this, you can build a network topology, Fred, without never stepping your foot on the ground in the same place as the devices are. You don't even need to be there at all. Yeah? Then you build a network topology, you know every single device. Yeah? We also got packet crafting tools. What do you reckon the packet crafting tools do? Crafting. I like this word crafting, you know. Making something nice. You're watching the movies, people making those jars, yeah? Crafting the jars, yeah?
This is when we talked about tagging the packet with two VLAN tags.
Exactly. So you can fabricate your own packets, Noah, and send it out.
Brad bought in his little Kali box. He probably
Yeah.
put that up.
The Kali Linux?
Yeah. And did a PHP flooding on the routers upstairs, you know.
There are so many things you can do with the Kali Linux. It's really powerful, man. Yeah. We also got the packet sniffers. The name is so cool, man. What is a packet sniffer?
It looks inside my packet so you can see it.
It's true.
Yeah? Have you watched those movies with the canine dogs? Yeah? They take them to the airport and they start sniffing people's luggages and stuff. Yeah? To find the drugs. That's it. You're gonna find the data that you're interested in. So you can use the packet sniffers to find out if someone is transferring data without encryption. Oh, cool, this is a password. I'm gonna keep it, you know. Might be useful in the future. Because after all, someone is using Telnet, you know. So, password, username, I'm gonna keep it, you know, just in case. We also got the rootkit detectors, fuzzers to search vulnerabilities, forensic tools, debuggers, hacking operating systems. Kali Linux is one example. Encryption tools, vulnerability exploitation tools, and vulnerability scanners. I'd like to highlight this one here. Rootkit detector. What the hell is a rootkit?
Rootkit gives you privileged access on a system when you run it. So like having the admin rights all the root
Exactly. I don't know if you guys remember in the 2010s, early 2010s, you remember, Fred, you got your first iPhone? iPhone 2, iPhone 3, whatever. Yeah. iPhone 3G. Yeah, because it was 3G. Or you got a Galaxy S2. I had my Galaxy S2, man. And I wanted to download the apps from the App Store, Mr. Owen. And I couldn't because they were all paid. And I was broke, you know, I was a student at the time. And I couldn't even buy WhatsApp, which was $1. Yeah? So what have I done? I just searched for a rootkit. A rootkit is a dodgy version of an operating system. Man. That's the best definition, yeah. It's a dodgy version of an operating system, so you can download it, yeah, from a dodgy website, of course. Install it, and then you have access to installing apps and a whole bunch of other stuff. Yeah. So you're basically gaining more privileges on the operating system that you're downloading.
Samsung refused to update their phones. That's an S5.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't go past version 6. So that you can get up to version 10 with other operating. You just download.
You
And
download.
these are all reputable you know, like sort of open source stuff. You get the old message.
Yeah. You just gotta make sure if you're getting a rootkit, you have to get it from a trustable source, mate. Yeah, reputable source. And that's it. Be all good. Alright, we also got all the network attack types. Eavesdropping attack, data modification, IP address spoofing, password based, denial of service, man in the middle, compromised key and sniffer attack. All of these, mate. Pretty self-explanatory, right? Malware. What is a malware, mate?
Something you want to download.
Software that causes damage or causes a behavior that the user doesn't really want or doesn't think that, oh.
Do you know what the MAL stands for? Malicious. Yeah? It's malicious software. Yeah? Malicious piece of software. Alright. The primary vulnerabilities for end workstations are virus, worm, Trojan horse attacks. All of these. We're going to discuss about them because, you know, we always do it here at CIT. Virus. So I'm going to rewind. Alright, so I'm going to put you in a time machine, Mr. Noah. I'm going to get in my time machine. We're going to travel back to the 2000 and when were you in high school? 4 years ago? 3 years ago?
2008.
Hey, you look pretty young.
2008.
Holy shit, no, that long? Okay, so we get into the time machine, go back to 2008. You remember high school? Very nice. Yeah? You're experimenting with your hair, doing some cool stuff, yeah? Trying to do skateboarding and stuff like that, yeah? But the thing is, that time you were doing biology lessons, maybe, yeah? With teacher Caroline. There's always a teacher Caroline in high school.
You always use that.
And then you've got teacher Caroline in high school. Because there's always a teacher Caroline, mate. Don't lie to me. Okay, there is always a teacher Caroline. And then she showed you this one day. She's like, oh, let's talk about the viruses. Yeah? And she showed you this. The cell, the virus. Yeah? And she explained everything to you that the virus attaches itself to the cell. Yeah? So that basically infects the cell, yeah, with the rDNA that is injected in the cell, and then it replicates, destroys the cell, and a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah.
This is a part of the CCNA as well?
Yes. I should be a biology teacher, you know. But the thing is, man, why do I show you these? Because it's easier for you to remember that a computer virus is the same stuff. Malicious infects the program, the apps, yeah, that you have, the files that you have, yeah, and then it infects the files, the programs, the apps, and once it's infected, mate, it's basically going to behave weirdly, you know, weirdly, because it's not supposed to be infected, you know. So the thing is, in computers, these are the things that will happen. These are the things that the virus can do. It can alter, corrupt, delete files, erase entire hard drives. It can cause the computer booting issues. Now when you turn on your computer, it reboots itself like 10 times. Yeah? Could be a virus. It can capture sensitive information to threat actors. You know? So that's why you shouldn't keep naked photos of yourself in your computer. Yeah. Some people are weird, man, you know? You should watch a Netflix documentary, mate. Seriously. Have you watched it, Andrew?
Yes, I
Yeah?
watched it.
Is it good?
It is very good.
It is, mate. Yeah, you know? It talks about a website which was known,
Back in 2011,
what's the name of the website, mate?
IUA.
Yeah,
Anyone up, sorry.
Is Anyone Up? Yeah. So there was basically a guy that was hacking people's accounts on Facebook. He was asking for their code. So this is what was happening. Let's say I'm friends with Fred on Facebook, right? And I'm just basically going to send Fred a message. Hey Fred, I just locked myself out of my account. It's pretty ridiculous, right? But people still fell for it, man. I just locked myself out of my email account, Fred. And I don't have my phone with me. And I have to receive the authentication code in my phone, in a phone number. So I'm just going to give yours, and then you send me the code once it gets to you. And people would But the thing is, the hacker was actually doing a password recovery on your account. And they were basically having access to your account and all that you had. And now they just changed the password, you're locked out, Fred. You know? That's it, you're done. And then with this, I can hack into Fred's email. If Fred has a Hotmail account, let's say that, or OneDrive, whatever, doesn't matter. I can just see everything, all his photos, all his backups and stuff. And maybe he was excited one day, took a picture of himself naked. I can just upload that to my dodgy website, Andrew. Is anyone up? So I post it there, and that's it. The rest is story, right?
4 years, everybody.
For 4 years he has done that, mate, and he was making so much money with this bullshit, mate. It was unbelievable. You should watch it.
Didn't they put all that information up there too? along with it?
No,
I
they
didn't
took.
watch it. I didn't watch it, but
Oh,
it just says
he
they put
did.
their name and everything.
Yeah, with their name and everything, because I know Fred's name, I know Fred's address, because most likely everything is in his email account and stuff
If
like
you
that.
Google yourself.
And you can use his
When you go
email
for a
account to
job,
send
they
us-
can
It's just ridiculous, man.
Oh, yeah.
What the?
But there you go. You can do all these things.
You can send a message from his email account saying, oh, you got the right people.
I'm telling you, mate, the internet is a pretty scary place, Alvin. Yeah. It's a pretty scary place. Now you know why some people, they cover their webcams with tape and stuff, you know? You never know. If you're one of those people that like to be home in front of your webcam naked, I would be concerned if I were you. Right? Just saying maybe. Now, modern viruses, they are developed to specific intents such as those listed below. Boot sector viruses, firmware, microviruses, program viruses, and script viruses. Every single one of these can be a different type of virus. Alright? Alright, threat actors uses Trojan horses. What is a Trojan horse? Noah, we're still in the time machine, okay? We're still gonna go back to high school, but this time we're gonna get inside teacher Steven's history class. Yes. And he was talking about a story, mate, on the Spartans. Isn't that the Spartans? Yeah, about the Spartans, they wanted to invade a city, but this city has these huge walls, they couldn't get in, yeah? So they just basically built
A gift.
a wooden horse, put a whole bunch of soldiers inside, left the gift outside of the city, and then they just like, oh, this is a pretty cool horse. Put it inside, yeah? Put it inside, yeah? The next day everybody was dead. Because the soldiers, they went out of the horse and killed everybody. Yeah. Mate, a Trojan horse in computers is the same thing. Remember back in the days, I'm gonna go get you back to 2012, Noah. You had to do an assessment, yeah? And you didn't have Word. So what do? Go to a dodgy website, yeah?
Yep.
Google, Microsoft Word 2012, free, yeah? Download the first one that you see, yeah? And it's a 300 kilobyte file. Do you reckon that's the real Word 2012? Full version, because it says full version.
No way.
There's no way, mate, yeah? And then you just run the file, it's executable file. You run it, it doesn't do anything. Maybe like, oh, okay, I'll just find another one. Yeah? It may look like it didn't do anything,
You did something.
but I'm pretty sure it did something, mate. On the background, yeah? Maybe altered some files, some things, yeah? Sent some files to someone, or whatever. So these are all the things that the Trojan horses can carry, yeah? The malicious code to do remote access, to do data sending. They can also be destructive, start deleting files from your documents folder. Proxy, FTP, security software disabler, denial of service, and the keyloggers. If there is one that makes me shit my pants, is the keyloggers. Yeah? So if you heard about the keyloggers, you're just as paranoid as I am. So every time I type a password, I mistyped it on purpose. And then I delete it, and then I go back, and then, you know. Because the keyloggers can just basically record everything you type on the keyboard. Yeah? Including your password. So that's the thing. In summary, if you don't use multi-factor authentication these days, seriously, consider using it for pretty much everything you have. Because there's so many ways someone can find out your password, even if it's extremely strong and huge, you know. If there's a keylogger there and you don't know, that's it. Your password could be 10,000 characters in length, doesn't matter. No? Control C, Control V, no? Pretty scary. All right, all the types of malware that exist, the adware, ransomware, rootkit, and spyware, and worms. What is an adware?
Pushes advertisements.
Congratulations, Noah. Click here. You have been Facebook's 11,000th visitor. Claim your prize right now. Yeah? Exactly. Pay us $10 so you can receive your $1,000 in prizes.
It's not that common these days because.
Pay for the shipping. Yeah, they also say pay for the shipping, Fred, and we're gonna give you this 4K 85-inch TV. And how much the shipping? $50. All right. Can you just, yeah. It's always dodgy, mate. We also got the ransomware. What is ransom? Something for something, right? Yeah? If you give me some money, I can, you know, do something for you. I can give you something back or whatever, yeah? If you give me some money, I'll give you your naked picture back, Andrew. Would you believe me? And, mate, even if I give you back, mate, it's probably somewhere out there on the internet already. Why would you want it back? You know? Pretty sure someone already copied it already, you know? It's gonna leak again.
Please send it to as many people.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Mate, every once in a while, I receive an email like this. After I started teaching in the cybersecurity department, I started receiving weird shit, and I think it's the students, mate. I'm not lying to you. I'm pretty sure. Must be the students, because after I started teaching in cybersecurity, weird shit started happening to me, mate. You know? Now every once in a while I get a dodgy email. Well, last year I received an email saying like this. Hello, dear Robert. They knew my name. Dear Robert, please make a transfer to this Bitcoin account below if you don't want your video to be leaked on the internet. Just so that you are aware, we recorded you going to Fish Week on a Friday evening to a very dodgy place. And I'll be like, man, I'm pretty sure it wasn't me. I'm pretty sure, and if I was there, I'm pretty sure it was for bunnies. Right? So I have nothing to fear. I don't care. All right. So my wife is still intact. Okay. My life is still intact. Okay. But the thing is, if you are one of those people that do dodgy stuff on Fish Week Friday evening, mate, you would be shitting your pants. And there is very likely you would transfer the Bitcoin amount to someone, mate. I bet you would do that. Alright? But, you know, it happens. You also got the rootkits as well, so make sure you download from a trustable source, because the thing is, you don't know what people are putting on the rootkits, you know. It could be capturing your data, sending it to someone in China, whatever. Also got the spyware and worms. Spyware, pretty self-explanatory, right? It's just there, hiding, trying to find stuff out. And we also got the worms. Let's go back to the biology lessons, talk about the worms. What's a worm? It's a pretty nasty, yeah, organism that exists by itself. Yeah? And you remember Teacher Caroline showed you a picture of a worm? So disgusting, yeah? You can just, you know, I don't even know how it moves, right? It's just weird. But the thing is, a worm exists by itself. And the worm replicates by itself. And all these scary things that you heard in your biology lesson, they all apply here as well. Worms can self-replicate and go from one place to another. They don't have to infect an organism. They will live in a host, just like the biology worms, but they don't need to infect a specific cell like the viruses have to do with the programs. So it's pretty scary, man. Now, common network attacks. Now we're going to talk about the groups of attacks. three major ones: reconnaissance attacks, access attacks, and denial of service attacks, or distributed denial of service attacks. A video for you to watch later on. Homework. What is a reconnaissance attack, mate? I got this picture from, guess what? Google. So I Google recon from the army, and this is what I got. What is this guy doing, mate?
Usually it's the first stage in the attack, in the chain, just collecting information about the target.
So it's they're basically deciding how they're going to do the stuff they have to do, right? Because after all, they just don't want to go there straight away and find out that there are 10,000 soldiers waiting for them and they're just 100. Because they're going to be dead, mate, you know? So they do this, the reconnaissance missions. They'll just find stuff out first, understand the enemy. So they will make sure they understand the enemy. Let's find out what the enemy has. Oh, they got these weapons. Oh, they got these tanks. Oh, they got these amount of people. We can easily beat them. Yeah? What is reconnaissance attacks in cybersecurity? The same stuff, man. Yeah? You want to find stuff out before you go in. Yeah? So you want to find out how many computers are there. You want to find out the network. Yeah? The IP addresses. The port numbers that are opened. If there are any servers. Yeah? The operating systems that these devices are running. That will be useful as well, right? Yeah? And so on. Yeah? The iOS version that the router or the switch is running. Because maybe there's a vulnerability there you can exploit. You know? And that's it. So there you go. Techniques to perform the reconnaissance attacks. Information query of a target. Maybe you can send a DNS request to all the IP addresses in the network. The DNS server will get back to you. Oh, here's the resolution, you know. There you go. You just found out that there's a DNS server in the network. Pretty useful information, right? And you just found out the IP address of the DNS server on the network. Pretty useful information as well. You don't even need to be there. Yeah. Initiate a ping sweep of the network. Just basically ping everything, you know. Whoever gets back to you, you know it's alive. Oh, cool. So there are 50 computers right now turned on that can reply to a ping. So maybe, yeah, you know, you can do something dodgy. That's why some companies, they will even block the pings, mate. They even block the pings on the firewalls. That's why, you know. You also have initiate a port scan of active IP addresses. Now you found out what the IP addresses that are getting back to you are. You can try to change the port number on the transport protocol. Try to use all the well-known port numbers to find that stuff out about the servers. Is there any DHCP server? Just send DHCP discover messages. Try to find out if someone is going to get back to you. Sort of thing. Yeah. We also got vulnerability scanners to find out the vulnerabilities on operating systems. And exploitation tools that will also attempt to discover vulnerable services that can be exploited. Alright, there's another video for you to watch on social engineering attacks. Access attacks. Now, access attacks are those ones that now that you just found out how stuff looks like, what your enemy is, you can try to gain access. How are you going to do that, mate? I highlighted two for you, mate. You can execute a password attack, try to crack the password, and you can also try to do spoofing attacks. What is spoofing attack?
Pretending.
Yes. You pretend to be who you're not. Yeah. How do you do that?
You call off the packets.
By impersonating IP addresses, impersonating user accounts, impersonating MAC addresses, impersonating so many things. Yeah? And other access attacks include trust exploitation, port redirection, man in the middle, and buffer overflow. Trust exploitation. Trust exploitation relies heavily on social engineering skills. Yeah? Try to find someone that believes in you and try to ask them for the access. Mate, this happened to a friend of mine. He received an email and he said it was Norton antivirus. And he used to have Norton before. He used to pay Norton some money every year.
Right?
So he got the email with the following message. Mr. blah, blah, blah. We're just getting in touch with you to say that your subscription renewal has been successful. Here's the invoice. And the invoice was $399. And then in the email it said, if you think this is a mistake, please get in touch with one of our friendly technicians. And they gave a phone number for him to call. And he was like, oh mate, I used to have Norton. I thought I had canceled this. You know?
Check your visa first.
Thought I had canceled this stuff. What's going on? Yeah? And then he just picked the phone, called the number. A very nice guy somewhere in India, you know, because it's cheaper to run these scams in cheaper countries with too many people. Yeah? India or China, whatever, doesn't matter. And then the guy was very friendly to him. The guy said, okay, no, yeah, I can sort this out for you, but I basically have to go into your machine and uninstall Norton. I have to do a full uninstall. He was like, yeah, sounds legit, yeah. And the guy said, okay, no worries. Just download TeamViewer.
Oh no.
So he downloaded TeamViewer.
Oh no.
Give me the password,
Oh no.
and I'll just do everything. You don't have to worry about anything. I'm like, oh, such a nice technician. Yeah. Gave the password to the technician and went to the toilet while the guy was there, remotely connected to his computer.
You didn't call your friend to ask you about
Do
it?
you know what the first thing that the guy did?
Install the malware.
He went into Microsoft Edge. So he opened Microsoft Edge. And guess what he did? He went to every single bank website. Yeah.
Same password?
Because if he had an account, it would be saved already. So he just tried. And I knew that because I checked the history later on. Because he didn't erase the history, the browser history. So that's why I knew how it happened. After my friend told me this, I found out because I went to the browser history. Said, mate, this is what happened. He tried every single, and it shows the time as well, 2:30. And I said, mate, what were you doing 2:30? He was like, I was in the toilet. I said, oh. That's what happened. And then the guy entered one of his bank accounts, and he had like $15,000.
Ouch.
And he told me this, and I was like, holy shit, you had $15,000. That's so good. Should give me some. Yeah. Yeah, so he had $15,000 in his savings account. And then the guy was like, okay, no worries. And then the guy closed everything down, so he knew he had money. And then what the guy actually did was, the guy asked him, so when he came, the guy was still in the browser, and then the guy said, oh, yeah, we're just going to return the money back to you. Now I have uninstalled everything, we're going to return the money back to you. But for us to complete the transaction, you have to transfer us $5, and then we are going to transfer you the whole amount back. But you know why the guy wanted to do this, mate? Because most of the banks, when you transfer for the very first time to an account that you haven't transferred before, it will send you the text message. So the guy couldn't get the money by himself. So that's why he got back to him again. And unbelievably, man, he believed the guy. But the thing is, Fred, you know what saved him, Fred? It was that instead of transferring the guy $5, he transferred the guy 5,000 by mistake. So he typed too many zeros. But the thing is, the bank didn't let it happen.
Yeah, because it's
Because it exceeded his daily limit. Said, mate, this is what saved you, mate. Because if you had transferred the money to him, that was it. You know, he would have access, and then he could transfer as much money as he wanted to. You know, that's it, gone. Right? Ridiculous, mate. Trust exploitation, social engineering, mate.
But usually when you log into your bank account using the web interface, you have to insert a couple of variables, just your name, your special
I don't.
number that you have, and then the passcode. So you have like 3 different
Yeah.
things
I
that
don't.
you have to.
I don't. In my Commonwealth, it's just my client number, my password, which is already saved in my browser, and that's it.
It saves your
Mhm.
client number and your password on your
Yes.
browser.
Yeah, I have to do the password too when doing any transfers, so.
No, for new transfers. That's the thing, for
No, it's
new
for
transfers.
all. It's for all.
If you're transferring for someone that you have already transferred before, they don't usually ask anything. It just goes through, and that's it. Good luck.
And a general comment is
I think it does it.
not to save,
Not to save it
on the browser
at all.
important password.
Yeah. But we get used to do it, right? Just save it. It's easier, you know. All right. So that's why I made these. Is so scary, you know. You got someone studying everything you do, every single step you take, your social media accounts, yeah, everything about you, mate. They can use all of these against yourself. The example I gave to you, I send you an email just saying dear customer, but I also send you another email, dear shy, yeah, driver's license number, blah blah blah, birthday, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Click on the link below, mate. Yeah, so much harder for you not to, click on the link. Now, social engineering attacks, they can help with pretexting, phishing, spare phishing, spam, something for something, baiting, impersonation, tailgating, short surf, dumpster diving, all these, mate. Yeah? Some of them are pretty self-explanatory. Noah, have you gone fishing with your dad before?
Yeah.
What do you do when you go fishing, man?
You wait.
You wait.
But what's the strategy? What do you have to do?
Yeah, get a bait.
A bait, yeah? And the quality of the bait plays an important role, right?
Yep.
The higher the quality of the bait, the easier it is for you to get the fish, right? But you basically, once you have the bait, throw it there, wait, that's it. Yeah. So you got fishing, you got spear fishing. When you go fishing, mate, anything is a target, yeah? Whatever comes first. First in, that's it. What's spear fishing?
More targeted.
So if you have a lot of money, you're a rich person, you're a millionaire just like Fred. Fred likes to go to the Atlantic Ocean every month because he likes to fish salmon. Yeah? With his spear. Yeah? So what does he do? He goes after a specific target. Yeah? And he knows it has to be an harpoon. Yeah? So he shoots the salmon and gets the salmon. Yeah? So that's targeting. Specific, tells you your details. So it's easier to fool you, man. We also got spam email, junk email, man. Oh, check it out, this sale on Big W, yeah. PS5 controller for $30. I don't think that's legit, man. Right. And all of those others. I'd like to highlight this one, shoulder surfing. What is shoulder surfing? It's exactly what it means, man.
Looking over the shoulder.
Yeah, looking at someone's over the shoulder, mate, trying to find stuff out, And the dumpster diving. What's dumpster diving? Have you watched those movies? American movies where the guy has to find stuff out about someone, and there's like huge dumpster, and he was like, I'm gonna have to go in, and they go in, and they start digging into someone else's garbage and stuff, yeah? To find a piece of paper that says that you were associated to an organization, yeah? Sort of thing. That's the dumpster diving thing. We also got impersonation, pretend to be someone who you're not. Tailgating. What's tailgating?
Going in behind somebody who's organized.
I used to live in an apartment, mate. I used to live in an apartment complex in Walden. Yeah? Trilogy Apartments. Yeah, Trilogy Apartments. I used to live there.
I heard the graffiti in the lifts.
And mate, in the entrance of the car park, the garage, there was a huge sign saying, no tailgating. What does that mean? If someone comes in with the car, they open the garage door, yeah, they go in. But if the person that is behind is quick enough, he's gonna be able to get in as well before the gate shuts down, closes, right? So that's your tailgating, man. It can happen as well here as well, you know. And that's why, you know what can prevent tailgating? Putting session timeouts. You know, session timeouts on everything. You know, that's why you set up a VTY line on a switch or router to timeout. You know, because if you forget to exit everything and you just disconnect the console cable or the connection, it's still there. The connection is still there. You know, someone can just come in, plug in the cable, they're in. You know, it's like tailgate. So there you go. All the other social engineering techniques for you to protect yourself, mate. Never give username passwords to anyone. Do I have to tell you this? You know? Never leave your username password credentials where it can be easily found. Oh, my password is too high. You know what? I'm going to write it down. Then you write it down. Mate, defeats the purpose. Never open emails from untrusted sources, you know? Doesn't matter how legit the email looks like. Check the source, mate, you know? Now, I'm going to tell you that some attackers are artists, mate. Some of them are horrible artists. You can clearly see that that's a scam email. Why? Because the logo is weird, yeah?
Spelling errors.
The spelling errors, the spelling mistakes, the email colors look weird, you know? Don't look professional, you know? All these sort of things, the email in the bottom, the signature and everything else looks weird. You can tell it's fake. But some of them are really good, mate. Some of them are the real deal. They look exactly like the real ones. Check the source, you know? Because no one is easily going to get a .gov email account. Yeah? So you get an email saying it's from the ATO thread. Check the source. If the source says administrator@gmail.com, it's most likely a scam. Yeah? Most likely. Never reuse or reuse work-related passwords. Always lock or sign in your computer when unattended. Yeah? That's the conversation we had about timeouts. What time is it? You talk too much on me. There is a lab for you to do, you know, because why not?
A lab?
Yes. There's a research on social engineering and identity ways to recognize and prevent it. Okay? Please don't send me an email. By the way. Video, denial of service attacks. Now there's another video for you to watch about denial of service attacks. Now, what are denial of service attacks, mate? That's the question. What are those?
Overwhelms the server so that the server couldn't process anything.
So legitimate users cannot use the service or the system, right? Because it's overloaded. Alright? This is a denial of service attack. Now, generally speaking, man, denial of service attacks are fairly easy to make sure they're not going to happen. Why? Because you can just check the amount of traffic coming in from the same source. For example, if it's a DNS request, you can just limit the amount of requests per second that one single machine can send. That's one way. You can stop the denial of service attacks. But the thing is, there is a different one. The distributed denial of service attack. What does that mean?
Comes from multiple sources.
Multiple sources. So it's harder for you to figure out. It's a coordinated attack. Right? So that's your distributed denial of service attacks. Alright, by the way, you can actually go to the deep web. Don't tell anyone your teacher told you this. But you can buy a botnet. What is a botnet?
Takes over a lot of other people's
It's a whole bunch of infected machines, which we also call zombies. They are already infected, and you can control all of them to execute a distributed denial of service attack. All right, IP vulnerabilities and threats, and I think this is the last topic of the night. Now, there's a video for you to watch, some ICMP vulnerabilities. Basically, those ones that can exploit the pings, the trace routes, and a whole bunch of other things like that. Now, ICMP attacks, mate, they will take advantage of the Internet Control Message Protocol. The pings, the trace routes, yeah? They take advantage of all of those. We also got amplification and reflection attacks. They are used for distributed denial of service attacks. We also got address spoofing. You can get an IP address, pretend that it's yours, and job's done. We also got man-in-the-middle attacks and session hijacking. Man-in-the-middle attacks is really scary, mate, because you don't know the full path to the destination. So someone might be in the middle, copying the files, opening the files, and things like that, redirecting the files. And we also got session hijacking as well. You establish a TCP connection, you can hijack it. If it's already opened, that's it. All right, talked about this already. Now we got all the ICMPs, echo request, echo reply attacks. Now, because every single time you send an ICMP packet, there is a specific response, right? You got the echo request, echo reply, which is normal circumstances. We have the unreachable, cannot reach the destination. The mask reply, redirects, and router rediscovery. Now, all of these can be used to attack the network and create a denial of service attack. You can overload the network with traffic. Another video for you to watch. So many videos to watch this section. Yeah. Could play the videos here, but then we'll be here till midnight. I was thinking about playing the video, but you guys want to go home. All right, there you go. This is an example of an amplification and reflection attack. You're basically going to infect a network of devices, and then you can execute an attack from all of them to the same target. All right. We also got all the spoofing attacks. We got non-blind spoofing and blind spoofing. The non-blind spoofing, the traffic is being sent between the host and the target. Non-blind spoofing determines the state of the firewall and the sequence number prediction. It's also hijack and authorized session. And we also got blind spoofing. The threat actor cannot see the traffic that is being sent between the host and the target. TCP and UDP vulnerabilities. Now I think it's the last topic, Fred. Don't judge me.
The material for a year course.
Yeah, this is huge, man. I know. And there you go, TCP. Do you remember this? Yeah? You saw these for the very first time. It almost made you cry.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Heard about it.
Because you couldn't understand this, you know. But these are basically all the components of a TCP. How's it called?
This is a tricky question.
Segments. If you got these right, well done. Okay? It's a TCP segment. All the elements of a TCP segment, including the source port number, destination port number, sequence number, acknowledgement number. Because remember, what's the difference between TCP and UDP again? Because of course you want to do the
This
CCNA.
is why you have a sequence number.
UDP is best effort.
What's the difference?
It's a reliable protocol, so there is a sequence number and there is
That's too hard for me, man. I'm gonna summarize for you, alright?
yeah.
TCP is Woolies and UDP is Audis.
Oh, one picture trouble.
Have you been to Audis before? Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy just scanned the grocery and throws at you? Yeah.
It's good.
Hey,
Yeah.
run!
And it's-
Pack everything by yourself! Oh my god! Yeah? And have you been to Woolies before? Yeah?
Self-service.
If you don't do the self-service, you go to a lady. Yeah? There's a very old lady that works in the Woolies at Walden. She's like 90 years old, mate. She's still working. And she's like, oh, beep. Do you want a bag? Yes. Beep. Do you want to put in the same bag? Yes. beep, this is a cleaning product. Do you want another bag? Yes. Then another bag, yeah? But she's basically doing what TCP does, mate. And the guy at Audi's, he doesn't do that, Shy. He doesn't care about you, mate. He just cares about, you getting out of there as soon as possible because there's another guy in the queue, yeah? So that's basically the same thing. You have the acknowledgements. The lady, which is extremely polite with you, yeah? Do you want another bag? Yes, yes. And then she puts in the bag and that's it, She organizes everything in a sequence. Very nicely, Takes time. It does take time, yeah? But the thing is, at Audi's, so much quicker, right? But the guy doesn't care about you, mate, okay? Run for your life. That's it. Now, in TCP, we have all the sequence numbers, acknowledgement numbers, and everything else. Remember this analogy, man, because in the CCNA, it's going to be there. Okay?
It will be enough to know the answer to the question?
Yeah, acknowledgements, sequence numbers, all of those, They're all there. Okay? And UDP doesn't care about any of these, right? So there you go. Reliable flow control, stateful communication. There you go. And then you got all the messages exchanged in a TCP transaction.
Do you want another bag? Yes.
Scene, acknowledgement, and then acknowledgement back to establish the session. So it's a TCP session. Alright? So it's the exact same thing we discussed here. The lady in Woolies, she's polite, she has time for you. So she's gonna ask how you doing, and then you're gonna ask her how she's doing, and that's it. It's not like the guy in Audi's. Good day, mate. Beep, beep, beep. Done. Run. Yeah, that's it. Sometimes he doesn't even say anything, Chai. Yeah? Do you reckon they get paid the same amount of money?
Audi probably gets paid more.
Seriously?
Yeah.
To treat us like shit? Unbelievable, mate.
Efficient.
And there you go. So you can actually take advantage of this TCP way of communication to execute something called a TCP scene flood attack because of the messages. So you can send too many scene messages to the server will send too many scene acknowledgements, and this can overwhelm the server. Right? Too many scene messages, too many requests to initiate a TCP session. Alright, this is another example. This is how you terminate a TCP connection. Do you need to know this for the CCNA?
Yes.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. So to terminate a TCP connection, the device that wants to terminate the connection sends a theme message. And then the device that received it will send an acknowledgement. Oh, so you want to terminate the agreement? Cool. It says cool. And then it's going to send the termination agreement. And then you send an acknowledgement back. I know it's hard to remember this. Just remember, it's the same process for when you try to cancel your mobile plane.
Okay.
You have to call them, tell them you want to terminate. Yeah, they're gonna send you. Oh, we received your request, and then they will someday they will send you saying, okay, it will be terminated, and they say, okay, terminated. Right? I'm fine. There you go. TCP session hijacking can happen because you can leave a TCP session open. If you leave a TCP session open, that basically means someone can jump in and use the session, TCP session. Alright, this is the comparison, mate. UDP, much simpler. Go grab your stuff, go to the cashier, he's gonna scan everything as fast as he can and send you back home. You just have the source and the destination port numbers, you have the length, the checksum, application layer data, pretty much all. 8 bytes of overhead compared to, how many bytes overhead in TCP? 20 bytes if no options are used. Okay.
What is the checksum used in the UDP protocol?
The checksum is just basically to, yeah, it's error checking,
But it's not.
but it's not error correction. You just know that it's an error in the packet, and you can discard it. You're not going to request another one.
Yeah.
Because in TCP you will find out,
Yeah.
okay, send another one, mate, and then it says back. But the checksum, oh, there was an error in the transmission. Okay, too late. Doesn't do much for you, mate. Because there's no way you can request another packet anyways. Everything happens so fast. There's no time.
It's redundant.
If it wasn't there, I don't think it matters.
Can't you tell if it's missing then? Doesn't TCP just send a message back saying this is missing?
For TCP, yes. No, for UDP,
Oh, okay,
no.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so
All right. We also got UDP flood attacks, because if you can send as many UDP packets as possible, you know, you can just send a huge ton of them to overwhelm the receiver. There are actually some tools that you can use to do that. I like his name for some reason. UDP Unicorn. You know, people are very creative, mate. Low orbit. A whole bunch of other tools as well. Mate, there's still another topic, Fred. You lied to me, Fred.
isn't that 10 of them?
My goodness, mate.
10 of them.
So there you go. We also have ARP vulnerabilities. Why is ARP vulnerable? First, what the heck is ARP, Alvin?
First resolution protocol.
What does it do?
Pairs IP with MAC address.
Exactly. Yeah? So it saves everything in something called the ARP table. Where's the ARP table, by the way?
The host device.
In the RAM?
On every device there can be an end device, yeah? Because every end device has to do encapsulation, de-encapsulation, right?
Yep.
Because when you do encapsulation, you need to know both things, MAC and IP. Where's the MAC address, by the way? The MAC address table?
Switch. I'm thinking where you're asking if it's in the RAM or in the non-volatile.
Ah, it's in the switch.
Yeah.
Where's the routing table?
Router.
In the running configuration, the MAC address table. And where's the routing table?
Router.
And where's the ARP table?
Everywhere.
On every device there can be an end device. Yeah? Remember that. So teacher, I can view the ARP table here in this computer? How do I do that?
Routers have RPs too, don't they?
They do. Like every device that can be an end device. So every device that you can do a ping, every device that you can do a trace route, will have a routing table because you need these, right? To do the encapsulation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It should. Alright.
Gratuitous.
Alright, there you go. This is just an example. Watch the video on ARP spoofing. DNS attacks can also be used, very frequently used, because after all, you can have a rogue DNS server, mate, giving you the wrong resolution to domain names. That's an issue, right? Now, DNS attacks can be open resolver attacks. Like I said, they can give you false information. Stealth attacks, domain shadowing, and tunneling attacks. So it can be all of those. I think we discussed just a few here. They can also be DNS cache poisoning attacks. So you basically create a fake cache. So you basically cache fake information.
Robert, question. In the exam, they won't ask question in this resolution, right? So we have to know the differences between those, or
Yes, you have to know the difference.
because it will take a long time
To read. It will take a long time to read. Like this resolution is awful. I don't know why. It's TV. We also got DNS amplification, DNS resource, and a whole bunch of others. Fast flood. I'm not even going to talk about every single one of these, mate.
I think it must be the angle. Right?
Now, one very common attack is called the DNS tunneling, because you can create a packet that looks like a DNS request, but it's not. So you can just make sure that the TCP port is 53, which is DNS, But your actual data doesn't need to be a request. You know? So DNS tunneling, so you can make it look like a DNS packet, but it's not. Alright. This is an example of a DHCP server attack. Now, DHCP is an issue, mate. Why? Because you send these broadcast messages requesting for an address. So you can have a DHCP rogue server. There's nothing stopping you from creating your own DHCP server, plugging into the CIT network, and then you're going to be handing out IP addresses to people. No? You can hand out fake IP addresses or whatever you want. Yeah? The thing is, you can include false information about the gateway. So every time the person wants to send a packet to a remote location, it's actually going to be going to you.
You'll be the gateway and you
Exactly.
will send it to, it's a matter of
Huge issue, man. Huge issue.
But there is a protocol, Cisco protocol that prevents that, the DHCP attacks, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
DHCP snooping
Yeah.
will allow you to configure the ports where you have a server. So you predefine that. So even someone plugs in a server to a different port, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
All right. There you go. All the spoofing attack that can be executed through DHCP. Wrong default gateway, wrong DNS, and wrong IP. Another video for you to watch.
And now
My goodness, Fred! I told you this was like 2 hours. Now, this is going to be quick because you have seen this before. Confidentiality, integrity, availability. What does that mean?
CIA trial. It's like intro to hacking, or it's not the intro even, it's like a full course about hacking.
Confidentiality. What is confidentiality? What does confidentiality mean? Confidentiality comes from the word
Confidential, making sure that
confidential.
only people that allows to see the information can see, and
What's the classic way you can do that?
encryption.
Encryption. There you go. Okay? You hide from unauthorized users. Integrity. What is integrity, man?
Make sure that no one will change
Integrity.
other information.
Comes from the word integral. Yeah?
What goes in comes out.
Hasn't been modified. It's integral. It's the way it's supposed to be. Yeah? That's what integrity means. So you're gonna make sure it's in original state, hasn't been modified, hasn't been tempered. Because the cybersecurity books, they love this word tempered. Yeah? Hasn't been modified. And we also got availability. What's availability?
The real system, we talked about denial of service.
DOS is a good way, it breaks availability,
But what is availability overall?
but you can get access to it all the time.
Availability comes from the word available. Yeah? What does available mean, mate? You call your boyfriend, your girlfriend, hey, let's go out. I'm not available today. You know, she's got all the commitments. Or he, doesn't matter. Yeah? But she can't do it, you know? But the thing is, being available means you are there, right? You are available to do something. Now, when we talk about the server availability, the server is there. It is able to answer legitimate requests and so on. Is that clear? There you go. Several, the defense in depth. What does that mean? This time I didn't show the onion here. See?
Yeah.
That's the difference between these and cyber and network security.
Isn't it coming up though? The onion?
Pretty sure it's mentioned there somewhere. But what's the defense in depth?
It's a methodology.
Multi-layered.
Mate, you do defense in depth since you started living in Canberra. You know? Because if it's too cold, what do? You put 2 socks. And 2 pants. And 2 jackets. And 2 sweaters. And so on, yeah? And if it gets colder than that, Alvin, what do? You put another layer, yeah? Another jacket, 1 more pants, you know? 1 more socks, you know? Wait, the first time I came here ever, I was wearing 2 jeans, one on top of the other. I'm not lying to you, man. I came from a tropical country. Alright. It was this cold. But the thing is, the defense in depth is just like that. You want to make sure you have more and more layers of protection. And some of the textbooks, they call this the onion model. Have you peeled an onion before, Fred?
Yeah.
So I'll give you guys a homework. Go home and peel an onion. But don't use a knife. It's layer by layer until you get to the core. Yeah? It is hard, right? So that's why the defense in depth is called this way, the onion model. Now there are several things you can do to protect yourself against all the things that we discussed today, including VPNs, ASA firewalls. If you don't know what ASAs are, they are advanced security appliances. IPS, intrusion prevention systems, ESA, WSA, email security appliances, web security appliances,
Cisco Cyber.
AAA, and so on. What's the ESA, mate? Classic example of an ESA.
Enterprise Security Architecture.
You log in. No, mate, that's the
You're confessing me today.
email security appliance. What's the email security appliance?
Email security appliance, you have email proxy, and then all the traffic, the email traffic goes through the proxy, and it can scan it and applies technology to
Usually all these things, they are in the ASA, the Advanced Security Appliance. Usually. Yeah? You buy this rack mountable device from Palo Alto or Cisco or whatever. It's an ASA, has pretty much all these functions combined into a single device. Yeah. So they can do pretty much all of these. Now the ESA will basically deal with the emails. You know, every once in a while, I'm in the ACT government network. Every once in a while I receive an email from the ESA of ACT government saying, we blocked this email because it looked dodgy. Do you want to have a look at it or not? I don't even bother me, you know. Then you also got WSA. Have you tried to open a torrent website here from CIT campus?
not yet.
Yeah, good for you guys. I tried that as well. And it didn't work. Yeah, you get that ACT web page saying that you're not allowed to do that. Yeah, that's a job for the WSA. Hmm?
Some of the things they put on there is stupid.
Some of the things they block us to be, I know. But still. Yeah. So it basically goes through the WSA. Of course, there's like a blacklist of websites and stuff.
I
And
think
it's
like the
blacklisted
proxy.
stuff.
www.
Yeah, it goes to the proxy
Yeah.
as well. But some companies, it actually goes through a WSA, and the WSA would do pretty much the same thing.
Put in Flat Attack.
What's one, mate? Pirate Bay?
It's not the one I was-
The connection is not private. Hey.
Yeah, these sort of things, yeah.
Yeah, right.
So the web security appliances can do this. Proxies will most likely implement these functions as well. Yeah. We also got the AAA servers. Now, as part of this course, we are going to talk about the VPNs. The last assessment, you have to set up the VPNs, site-to-site VPNs, between 3 Cisco routers in Azure Labs. Because I'm going to give you the images for the Cisco cloud service routers. You have to install them as virtual machines. And then you have to configure them all. And then you have to configure OSPF. And then you have to set up the VPNs. And then you have to make everything work. And then you have to run a script in one of the machines to test connectivity to the router. And then you have to modify the script because it's a Python script to gather information from all the routers and save it in the machine.
How much Python do we need?
Just the base, very, very basics.
Right.
Most likely what you know from scripting will be useful here, and you just need to know the syntax. So you're basically gonna have to create a loop. I'm gonna give you a script that will do it for one router. You have to modify it so that it will do for all the other routers as well. So create a loop, you know. So it's just a very brief introduction on Python and how you can, you know, use Python for gathering information from devices. Yeah.
Albert, you haven't mentioned the most obvious thing for us here in in-depth defense.
Which one?
Network segregation.
Oh yeah,
It's a networking course.
network segregation as well. AAA. You know what AAA is?
Authentication.
There you go. 3 more minutes to explain about that. Yeah. Authentication, authorization, and
Counting.
counting. What is authentication?
You are who you say you are.
What is authorization?
Where you're allowed
Are
to
you
talk.
allowed to
Are
do
you
what
allowed
access.
And what is accounting? You guys are really good, man. I'm telling you, 90. It's 90 on the modules.
No, things are low.
Yes. So there you go. This, mate, if I have to explain this to you, I refuse to do so. Alright. But what is a firewall, mate?
It's a big blacklist.
It's a filter.
It's a filter. It will allow or block certain traffic. You know? There you go. IPS is intrusion prevention, intrusion detect. I'm not going to talk about this too much because we're still going to talk about this in network security. So if you do it in the second semester, some of you are doing this semester, we're going to talk about this day. And I'm going to show you how to configure and do stuff like that. And there you go. This is just showing what an IPS does. Yeah, talk about this already. Oh my God. I really thought I was done. I didn't remember this was so long, mate. There you go, another video for you to watch. And then, of course, you want to make sure things are confidential. And how do you do that with encryption? You basically hide stuff out. We already discussed about that, yeah. That's an example of encryption. Yeah. So there are many algorithms that you can do. Yeah, hashing as well.
This is actually
Now, the last thing we need to discuss just before I send you guys home. What's the difference between symmetric key and asymmetric key? And I promise we're going to be done. Because all these things we're going to talk about in VPNs. So don't worry. We're still going to go back here. So what's symmetric and asymmetric encryption?
symmetric, there's one secret key, and symmetric, there's a private and public for each person.
Exactly. Okay?
And in the first case, it's like one key with two wrong. Everyone can get access as long as they pay.
Yeah. So with the asymmetric keys, you have a public and a. Which one is going to be widely available? Yeah. So it's usually in the form of a certificate.
Yes.
The certificate will have the public key. Ah, but how does it actually work then, mate? If the key is available. But the thing is, you have to remember, is asymmetric key. So if you encrypt something with a public key, the only way you can get the data back is if you use the private key. So they work as a pair. So it doesn't matter that someone got the certificate. Doesn't matter if someone knows the public key. Doesn't matter. Because to unencrypt it, you will need the private key. So your server will have the private key. Only the server knows the private key. So yeah, there you go. We're still going to talk about this when we talk about the VPNs, but let's keep going. Module practice and quiz. There is a module exam for you guys to do. Module 1 and 2. And this is everything we discussed today. Everything we discussed today, 2. Everything we discussed today, 3. And we're done. Fred, finish it off.
Golden Gate Bridge.
Man, that was not the one. Alright. Shine, give it a try, mate.
I'm not qualified. I'm just CCNA qualified.
No, finish it off, mate.
Let's go.
Yeah, that was good. Man. That was good. That was good. I'll finish it off. Cisco. You have to change to, to nothing right after. I know this was a lot to take, mate, but yeah, I think this is the longest class in the semester.
You should take this lecture and make a course out of it.
Could easily be done, mate. Easily be done. But that's what happens. Network security.
Alright.
Network security is just a course that we talk about today's lecture throughout the semester, but with detail.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds a good course.
So we learn about IPS, IDS, how to use them, VPNs with more detail than here. A whole bunch of other things. Cryptography.
Do you have courses that demonstrate or teach you hands-on with exploiting, some of the vulnerabilities that we discussed during the lectures? Like
There is, but it's in the cybersecurity stream.
Alright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could do maybe penetration testing and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Alright.
You can talk to Katie because she's done the cybersecurity cert for.
Nice.
She will know more than me. Katie, is there anything worth it
What's that?
in the cert for cyber for him to do?
Oh, I love pen testing.
There you go.
Really like pen testing. I mean, have you done the step 4?
I've done a couple of courses, but I've reached it so.
Yeah. I don't know what Robert teaches, but pretty much, sorry Robert if you teach these, but there's some pretty like annoying courses like communicate information and
Oh,
WHS and like.
Yeah, I've done.
The boring stuff, yeah. But you've done some of the boring stuff already, right? So,
I'm
yeah.
just wondering if there is a course that teaches you hands-on,
There used to be one
It's
that
rotation.
like each class
Yeah,
would do a different classic